Hey everybody, welcome to Brick Vault. Today is another LEGO weekly news update. Sorry I'm a few days late. I've been busy with a lot of different videos. We have our Star Wars sale that I'll jump into in a second, but this week there was a massive drop of new pictures for all the major themes, most of the major themes for summer 2021. I'll be going through as many as I can for this video, but I highly recommend that you check out the links in the description below if you want to get closer looks or a little bit more details for all of the individual sets. Last week, 2 new custom build instructions went up in the web store, both from the designer Jarek, one being the minifig scale TIE Fighter and the minifig scale TIE Interceptor, along with the Royal Guard Red version. They are amazing models, surprisingly different from their earlier iterations. They're basically total redesigns, and they're optimized to be a bit better in just about every way you could measure a custom build, including the fact that they use less rare pieces, which makes them just easier to acquire on the physical market for Bricklink or Pick-a-Brick or what have you. Big thanks to everybody that's been supporting us so far for our Star Wars May the 4th promotional sale. If you didn't hear yet, everything Star Wars in the web store is 20% off, and this is going to last up through May 5th. You can check us out at www.brickvault.toys. Remember, everything's linked in the description below. And then very quickly, let me just knock out a couple of these extra leaked pictures for the latest Bad Batch set. The definition is still pretty poor here, but you can see a few more details. I've also got it lined up next to some of the shots from the most recent trailer. I think it's a reused set of shots, but ultimately I do kind of think it does have a bit of a bluish tint. It's similar to how maybe a TIE Fighter looked like back from the original trilogy with that slight bluish tinge. I do think sand blue is not actually a terrible color to use, but TIE Fighters have been built in gray, and so thematically it still sort of feels like gray or dark bluish gray might make a little bit more sense contextually. But if you remember, some of the earliest TIE Fighter sets that LEGO made actually built them with more blue in there because that blueness had been acknowledged in Star Wars toys in the past, and it really does look quite different even when you look at a TIE Fighter compared to the Millennium Falcon. So of course, discuss in the comments below. Also, you do get a screen grab of what that lime green speeder looks like. Hunter is on it. So anyways, we're gonna get some better pictures of the Bad Batch set like tomorrow on May 4th, I'm pretty sure. But really, let's get into the meat and potatoes of what is awesome about last week, and that is the massive amount of pictures that have been dropped for summer 2021. I'm gonna go in order of theme that I just feel like talking about the most and just work my way down in terms of my own personal interest. And once again, I'm not gonna be talking about every single little set individually, not necessarily. Let's start with Ninjago Summer 2021. There's a few new legacy sets coming down the way. The ultrasonic assault vehicle is the largest and most detailed of those ones for sure, but we're now going for another water-themed Ninjago wave, and this time we're not on top of some tropical islands with catamarans, but instead it's going under the waves. So you've got Lloyd's Hydro Mech. There is the Ninja Sub Speeder set where it looks like the wheels can fold and actually turn into propellers. Some next level dragon sets are along the way. This is the Fire Dragon Attack. When I was scrolling down the list, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is like the best dragon that LEGO Ninjago has made before. But then we also have this pretty epic looking water dragon to go along with it as well. Very different design, at least compared to the Fire Dragon in terms of body shape, but there's really some excellent details here as well. We get some great looking figs, especially in the water dragon set. Then there's the big one here. This is the Temple of the Endless Sea, €100 set, just over 1,000 pieces. Really great color combos in my personal opinion. And then we have this absolutely crazy looking model, the Hydro Bounty. So Destiny's Bounty is going underwater, and this is what it looks like. It kind of reminds me of League of the Extraordinary Gentlemen, but it really is just a weird creation in and of itself. By the way, these sets and most of the summer sets should be available for June. Minecraft is not slowing down at all. This is the horse stable. You get some new horses and figs here. Then this is the Ruined Portal. This one personally doesn't do too much for me. There's the Sky Tower now. Then there's the Modern Treehouse, which is kind of interesting. The figs look pretty nice here in this one also. And then the last one really is a different one. We've got the Jungle Abomination. There are tons of new figs rigs and elements and weapons included for this summer wave. I don't have time to get into really any of it, so let's just jump right on over to a set that made some waves. There were some leaked pictures, but now there's the official reveal. This is the 3-in-1 medieval castle. Lego, it looks like, is somewhat wetting the palette here. It doesn't have that sort of classic castle theme style build to it because it is a 3-in-1 creator set. But what's so cool is that the 3-in-1 creation, the alternate builds, are just other types of castle constructions, which means there's a big incentive for folks to want to get maybe 3 or maybe even more of these sets and really just work on a consistent massive castle. The figs look great. There's just a lot of fun elements included here. So I don't know if this is going to satisfy fans really for the castle builds, but this is definitely going in the right direction. There's also some really amazing other creator 3-in-1 sets this wave around, probably some of my favorite that have ever been made. The crocodile looks so good, and the fish tank is a really interesting, unique idea. Lego City has a new line of sets coming out this summer, and they have a wildlife theme to them. The Wildlife Rescue ATV Little set has a mold for a couple of new monkeys, which is great. The Wildlife Rescue Off-Roader has a lion with a mane and a lion cub and a cobra or another larger snake. This is a 4+ set. The builds themselves don't really grab me here, but I love the animal elements. Wildlife Rescue Operations comes with a elephant mold. I think that's a new mold for an elephant. A baby mold, that's definitely a new baby. The new croc mold, I think, has been done before. Maybe it's slightly different, but that color, it looks new for it. I love the tan and red for the main rescue helicopter. So this theme is just pretty cool because it's a pretty awesome update, I think, for some classic Lego animals. Speed Champions is not slowing down. I don't know how to pronounce the name of this car, this first one that's in front of you. It's another 8-stud wide, highly detailed vehicle. I do like this design in general. And now we're looking at the Toyota GR Supra. Once again, just good details for these cars. Personally, I'm just glad that they keep on making new car elements because the custom building world really benefits from these sets. Here's the McLaren Elva. This is certainly my favorite of the single car sets. We have some interesting offset wall designs to make that shape for the side of the doors. And then for the double ups, we have the Chevrolet Corvette C8R race car and the 1968 Chevrolet Corvette. I believe that would be the Stingray. This set was one that got released slightly early or sold slightly early, so we got to take a look at it a couple of weeks back, but it includes a 1970 Dodge Challenger in purple and black. It's so weird because that car looks scarily close to a car that my neighbor used to have, including the color combination. It is like uncanny. Anyways, we're finishing off with the Ford GT Heritage Edition and the Bronco R. This one I know is going to be a real big one. Personally, I think the Bronco looks awesome, but the GT Heritage Edition is probably one of my personal favorite cars to have come from the Speed Champions line, hands down up until this point. There's some Harry Potter Brickheadz sets that have been revealed. Also, Harry Potter Wizarding World minifigure accessory set is coming down the way. Lego Architecture had a great idea. I'm so glad they did this. They made the Taj Mahal, but with the architecture, the smaller sort of micro-scaled version. And considering the other much bigger set really wasn't huge in terms of details, it almost feels like this one's smaller, more elegant, and more detailed. That doesn't take up the biggest footprint ever, like out of any Lego set. So this is a really cool one. It's still going to be pretty hefty in its size, but it's honestly just a model that absolutely makes sense for this line, and it looks great. The Botanical collection is getting a Birds of Paradise set, a little bit strange. They seem a little bit downscaled to when you normally see this flower and plant, which is actually quite large. And on top of that, you'll see it in a pot. It's actually got a brick-built pot at the bottom, which breaks a little bit away from the Botanical sets that we've seen before, not including the bonsai tree, which I feel like was just a slightly different type of set. And I'm sure folks will find some really interesting uses with these much larger dark green panels that make up the leaves. The Disney, Mickey, and Friends summer sets have been officially announced. This is really going to get collectors going because we get some classic characters with some excellent prints and get-ups and different costumes. Mickey Mouse's propeller plane actually looks like a pretty great little set. So does the Minnie Mouse ice cream shop, and I believe this is the largest of the new ones, but now we get Goofy and we get Pluto and we get Mickey and Minnie in firefighter outfits. This is just gonna be really fun. Simple builds, very kid-oriented, but also adult collectors are probably gonna go a little bit crazy at the same time. The Mickey and Minnie Mouse space rocket set also is pretty excellent. You get them in astronaut suits. There's little aliens. There's some really interesting molds that make up the top and bottom half of the rocket itself. Dots has tons of new sets with I think a color combination, a color palette that's a little bit more mainstream. You have a lot more of the sort of common colors that are getting a lot of those small little tiled rounded pieces. This is going to be excellent for the custom building world no matter what. Vidiyo has an entire new summer wave. I personally don't really get into the theme that much. The figs still look amazing. A lot of people are saying that this might be the last wave of Vidiyo themed sets, who knows? And there's more. There's actually more stuff that I just do not have time to talk about because I'd rather jump over to LEGO ideas. This week, the first round of 2021 sets for the review stage has ended, so that's the first third of the year, and 57 projects are now in the 10,000 supporter goal. This has got to be a record. Technically, there were 58 for this season, but one ended up getting removed because of an intellectual property thing. Regardless, it just shows that more and more people are getting interested in supporting fellow builders for LEGO ideas. That's pretty crazy. Hopefully they go with more than one project. Often they usually just go with one, maybe two, but I would love it if they just expanded the ideas design team and they could maybe approve 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. Now it's crazy to think, but last week 5 projects got approved, technically 6, but 1 was removed. And by approved, I mean got 10,000 votes of support. So the Imperial Island Fort by BrickHammer was approved. There is another classic pirates themed styled set that got voted in. It looks great. Bike Lanes by MarcelSteeman got 10,000 votes. This looks like it should be able to integrate with the new road system that LEGO recently built out. Kind of an interesting idea. This could be cool as like an extra set to maybe add on for your LEGO city. LEGO Astronaut by legotruman got 10,000 votes. Really cool, larger scale brick built figure. If he could swivel on a display stand, that would actually be a pretty epic display piece. Then the Fantasy Castle by Lego Monkey got 10,000 votes. So once again, we're going back towards the classic medieval theme as well. And the last one that got 10,000 votes is the Welcome to the Black Parade by VNMBricks. This is, I think, based on a music video from My Chemical Romance. I don't really know much about it, but it looks pretty detailed and, you know, way to go. Get those 10,000 votes. I just like that people are interested in supporting LEGO builders in general for their projects, for ideas. I think the more traffic, the better. Also, a LEGO builder by the name of Paul has put together the largest LEGO set ever in terms of part count and got the Guinness Book of World Record fastest build time for it. Honestly, this is all I've got time for to do the news right now. There are tons of other articles linked in the description below. This really was a massive week for just the LEGO world in general. Remember, our Star Wars sale lasts until May 5th, so that is 20% off all the Star Wars themed instructions in the web store. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoy our content, you can always like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever it is that you want to do, and we'll see you next time at BrickVault.